So that works out. Join. Ah, as well. Ah, make sure. So okay. Davey, you lost. That's not good, buddy. You would already lost. You're the first one here, so you can't be last. But you could be last if no one else joins the stream. So you do have a point, I guess. Bro, that's so like when I plug that in, it's like so blurry. Or like big video, camera control, turn exposure off, and then it like looks a bit better then. Alright, let's I think we lost the last game before I jumped early, so I think I have to change my SR. 4340, yeah, so let's just go minus 29. We go reset daily SR change, reset session, reset daily. Is it not even on? Bugs Bunny's on. Is it usually Bugs Bunny? Like, that's what it's supposed to be. Bugs Bunny. Diamond 1. No one likes to show up, brother. Got people Diamond 1. Zach just stopped talking for no reason.
So I'm out in the kitchen making dinner.
Making dinner. Thought
Yeah, the
Jacob
chicken
was cooking
burger.
burgers, bro.
Nah, he was doing shit, so I was like, fuck it, I'll cook it.
Ah, what are you cooking?
Chicken burger.
Oh, you're cooking your own chicken burger.
Yeah.
Ah, look at you, Master Chef, mate. You should go on Master Chef. Or like My Kitchen Rules or some
Bro.
shit.
What with just my chicken burger?
Yeah, could be a masterpiece, bro. You never know. Don't know till you try. Davey agrees.
When you left to, I think, go watch the footy, Davey was watching me play some of that Crimson Desert.
Yeah, I seen him in the chat. He wasn't. Was he talking? Did he start talking or no?
Nah, he was just muted, just watching me.
Okay.
Sending me messages on Discord, and I was just like, chatting.
Davey, is that you? Stanky Dave is in my lobby. He's on my team. He's on the win streak.
I felt like a streamer reacting to shit that was
Zach
happening.
probably cooks the burger buns and then everything else, but eats the chicken raw. He might. It could be a new strat. Oh, Gridlock's. I don't think I've played Gridlock Search yet. I think that's a mistake. Because Gridlock Search and Destroy isn't in the map pool, like for CDL. So I don't know what happened there, but it's better than most of the maps. You're retired? You're retired from what? Are you retired from?
No, Davey, I heard you got training
Oh,
today.
no, he's retired from COD.
Tra-
What?
Oh,
Training?
COD, yeah. But, yeah, training. Him and his mates on that Val, they signed up for the premiere.
Like, did they
So,
play
like-
today?
Or no, like, I think it's on Wednesday, it was the next game. But Dave was like, oh man, after tonight, I'm like retiring again. And then they're like, nah, we got a training match tomorrow. What are you talking about, Davey? That was pretty funny. And then even one of like his other mates was like, bro, yeah, I'm done with this game. And even Dave was like, nah, we got training tomorrow. See you then.
David said, nah, I retired. From the Valorant thing, I'd say. That's what he's talking about.
The guild is hiding something. Let's dig that shit up.
Alright, guys, don't expect anything crazy from me this match, because I haven't played this map. Get in the bloody hole, bro. Please send help. That's not good.
One hostile remaining. Time check, Black Ops. Credits are about to roll.
What a quick round. I gave in for that one night of premiere since they asked me multiple times a day for multiple days in a row. Yo, what's going on, Cole, bro? Welcome to the chat, the stream, buddy. Hope you're having a great day. So you gave in, Davey, and then you retired again. Is that what you're saying?
Search and destroy. Defend the objective. Get serious, Black Ops. MTC is scraping bottom.
You better stay up.
Enemy device is set.
I know there's like a lot of,
One enemy
like
left.
you were saying, there's no skill-based matchmaking in
Teammate,
that premiere thing, Davey. But
teammate,
I
how do
think
you
you'll do it
lose
alright.
that, bro? Honestly, if my teammate wasn't blind, he's seen that guy, because I killed the other guy near there. Like, I didn't see him when he ran a big gun. When we're around, just
Get in and get out, kill team.
throwing down the drain there, you know?
Bomb acquired.
Oh, dude, what the?
Time's low.
Um,
Get down and get it done.
Going alright, Alana. This is my first game on since I had a break.
Charge is set.
I think I'm up a little bit SR, not much though, but there's nothing crazy amount, but went on a 9-win streak and then play private matches. It's alright, if you don't love me, just say so. I mean,
One
it's okay.
hostile remaining.
Nah, it's all good. Say you invite just in case you wanted to join, but it's all good. It's all good. Check it, bro. Check it, check it, check it, check it. Nice. Nice.
Nice, bro.
Mesa was saying when he joined, I was pretty interested.
Yeah, this is the first time I played Destiny on this map as well, Alana. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's a mistake potentially because it's not in the CDL map rotation, so I'm so
Search and
confused. But
destroy.
not bad. What did you say there?
Nothing.
Stay
Why?
sharp. The guild's up to something.
I don't know.
Enemy set the bomb.
Oh, this is not good. Your grenades thrown at my face.
Just you now. Watch your ass. Fine.
Yo, Cole on the
Next one.
5 stream streak, buddy. Let's go. Dude, all my teammates just died at every point, and I was like the last one left. And scary time. Thought I was gonna kill that guy as well, but plus 450 channel points, buddy. Let's go.
Destroy the objective. We got the bomb. We lost the bomb.
See if we traded that.
Bomb acquired. One enemy left.
Ooh.
Handle it. Running out of daylight. Close it down, Black Ops. We're bringing the bomb online.
Nice. Give me that 3 that round, baby. TTV wannabe? Yeah, right. Okay, bro. Okay.
Search and destroy.
He's 1 and 4 and he's called me the wannabe, alright. It's crazy. Real job? I do have a real job.
Mission
See,
area
these people just
designated
don't
a fuck
know
'em up
the
zone.
facts.
One hostile remaining. Solid. Do it again so we can get the hell out of here. Search and destroy.
It's crazy, Alana.
Objective.
He doesn't even know anything about me. He's telling me to get a real job. I do have a real job. Full time. Just because I stream and he's bad. Doesn't make... Why is he calling me out for it anyway? There's like 3 other people on my team.
Bomb plant in progress. Bomb active. One enemy left.
Getting mad
Handle
though.
it.
He's bad.
You're
When
all
he's
back.
seen the TV. you probably
Think
just
smart, move fast.
You'll fight them,
Last
Tori?
3
I'm
rounds.
glad you'll fight them. It's right, they're not the streamer or anything. They're just talking shit in the game. He's like, honestly, he's 4. I mean, he's not. He was 1-4, but he's 4-6 now. But he's just upset that he's not having a good time.
Search and destroy.
Yeah, I mean, he's just. I think he's just upset. He's not having a good time. Maybe he's not having a good Sunday. You never know. Like, but
probably
he's taking out on me for. I've done nothing to him.
you probably killed him a couple rounds, and he probably just seen your name and it's like this fucking guy.
Probably. That's it.
Hostile charges primed.
Wow, that's a crazy spot to be on. Well, I might get around here, potentially, because this guy's running out of time.
We're not going down on my
Others always
watch.
play for 10 hours. I mean, yeah, but I've seen that guy a couple times, actually. Maybe he's just an angry person in general. What?
You heard from Brock?
Nah, isn't he watching the movies?
No, but he said he'd be on like tonight sometime.
I haven't heard from him. Message him. Is he getting on?
See where
Search
he's
and
at.
destroy.
What's the time even?
6:30.
Oh, it's still early.
It's not early.
Move to engage all hostiles.
Yeah,
Bomb acquired.
What's late?
it's probably only just got to the movies, like 8, 9.
No, wait, what? The movie started at 4, bro. The movie should be over by now.
Oh,
I swear he said 4 o'clock.
Bomb going down.
but I just heard him say he'd be on like tonight sometime.
Bomb is down.
Well, we didn't have time to wait
So
for him, bro.
My guess was like 8, 9. He'll be on.
I like why this guy's in mid 4, bro. I get why he's here, but I'm not going that
One
way.
hostile remaining. Mission goals are green. Hotel Sierra.
Yeah, he's getting angry.
Probably.
Well, your mum, your dad, instead of talking shit, bro, about just worry about getting better, bro. Just worry about getting better.
Come on.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Don't.
Get
It's.
a job, you low life.
I do have a job, a full-time job, actually.
I'm a Twitch streamer. Oh, thanks for the subs. Thank you. Shut the fuck up, you fat Jew
Wait,
cunt.
stay hard stuck in
You want
goal.
this shit, cunt?
He was like, oh, I'm a Twitch streamer, like, for making fun of me, and then some guy was like, have fun being hard stuck gold, you shit cunt. Bro, this, I don't know why he's calling me up, but he knows nothing about me, and he's just full making assumptions. It's crazy. Yeah, bro, they always get triggered. As soon as you say something, they always just instantly get angry, and it's fucking hilarious. For someone I'm at 9 and 5, I should have more than 26 SR. 4 and 8, that's... I'm gonna message him and say maybe we'll exit pubs. Maybe stick to pubs.
Mate, so.
No, don't talk shit to me and then lose
No.
and go double negative and then try to keep talking shit. That's insane to think about. Like, it's alright if you talk shit if you beat me, but you didn't beat me, bro. You, like, went double negative. You bottom fragged on the other team, like... Yeah, but I feel like 26 is kind of like hard stuff, but I played really well. I feel like that guy's just... He might be having a rough weekend or something, because, like, I done nothing to affect it. But, as like, they call me out because I had TTB in my name. Bro, like, if you just chill out, bro, it's okay. Some people are better than you. Some people are better than me. It's not a big deal.
Is it stereo Bluetooth?
Siri has Bluetooth. Hook it up to the phone.
The speakers underneath the front. And look.
Zach, the speaker's at the front, bro. Connect the Bluetooth. Put music on. Yeah, GG's whisper, bro.
So she.
Yeah, I think
busy.
I think his teammate was a bit
You
upset.
can just tell.
Oh, you're on my team. All good then. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with that other guy on the other team, bro. Like, full calling me out. I don't know what his problem was. He wasn't having a good time. But you played well, man. We all played well as a team collectively. But that guy on the other team was just not having a good time. He was not having it. How big is Scar? I vetoed Scar. It's overload Zach. Fuck. It's overload Zach. This is not good, buddy. Do you believe Zach?
I believe.
Yeah, I'm worried as well.
That's what I
Alana, are
believe.
you on? Come save me. I don't want to be solo queuing anymore, especially in overload. I'm pretty sure you can actually. I'm also on YouTube, bro. I think you can like go onto the YouTube and then actually go back. VODs are on, but I think they only go up after I finish the stream. I didn't even say anything bad to him, bro. Well, I'm only on to like 8 o'clock-ish, Alana, so if you're on before, let me know. He got so angry, bro, like so quick as well. Whoa. Well,
Enemies are carrying the device.
teammates are falling everywhere I look. No, teammates.
Protect our zone.
Nice.
We have the overload device.
Nice! Dude, that guy was so close to the score point, bro. Holy shit. Go teammate, run! Nice!
Device successfully delivered.
Big plays out of me then. Massive plays out of me.
Ah, pussy.
New overload device available.
Bitch. Grab that.
We have the overload device.
Oh, two mid cut.
I like it.
Yeah, that's right, Alana. I understand. I don't actually. I don't have kids, but. Throwing a grenade, bro. They're gonna score off that. Oh, wait, maybe not. Teammate, go off.
Oh no.
I'm saying I know for.
EMP.
I'm watching your stream.
If you're on a delay. Oh, you're watching when they nearly scored.
Whoa.
We overloaded
Nah,
the
and
control station.
when you died to mid cut,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you were like
Oh, you're
running in front of
watching.
teammate,
Oh my
it
god.
was
that
just perfect
comes
timing
breathing.
of you saying oh no, and then me saying oh no.
New overload device on the field. Get there first.
Oh no. Not sure of that.
Enemy EMP delivery successful.
Here he is.
bro?
Yeah. Zach was asking where you were just then.
Overload
What?
device.
Yours must have been burning.
Oh no, I'm stunned. I didn't make it. No, teammate, go. Nice.
Successful overload, Black Ops.
Alright.
New EMP device
You are
available.
pretty quiet, I can't.
Why does he sound like he's like heaps far away from his headset?
But
Playing heady, playing heady.
I did hear you say you were going to go for a shower first. But you are pretty quiet.
Sounds like you're talking through like your controller or something.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. That's
That's
better.
better.
Yeah. Go teammate, grab that.
My Discord switched to my PS5 controller somehow for the.
I knew it.
It always is out.
Why the hell did it do that?
It does it sometimes.
Enemies are carrying the EMP.
Whenever I plug in my controller, like, it's like, it comes up with the notification on Discord. I think I've made it so. it
Oh,
comes
yeah,
with
do you wanna
notification
switch
rather than
devices?
switching- Yeah.
No, why would I want to do that?
Enemy overload successful.
Oh, they just full juked that out, bro.
Down.
Teammate should have fucking picked up on that and literally stopped that. It's tracks.
What, Zach, what are you doing?
No, not
Here's
that.
a new device.
At the moment, mate.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Teammate, help me.
Oh, no.
Thank you. Teammate! Oh my god. So scared right now. No, teammate! Get the trade, bro! Oh my god.
Time's low. Put your head down and get it done.
There was so much potential to score there. That's 2 down.
Device acquired. Transport it to the enemy zone.
It's alright, we're gonna score. Nice! So much potential.
Probably too hot. Yeah.
Bro, this guy went double negative, Brock, last game.
Overload.
He went double negative.
Yeah, on the other team, and he was like, TTV, get a real job in the game chat. And then at the end of the game, I was like, maybe you should worry about getting better. He's like, fuck off, you like full angry ass. And then some guy was like, dude, shut up, you're fucking hard stuck gold.
Yeah, imagine being hard stuck cold. Get over it.
Like, it's okay if you talk shit, but like, don't go double negative and then still talk shit at the end of the game, bro. You get smacked up, bro. Don't do that.
Hostiles have the overload device.
You're not the guy. You're not that guy, bro. Nice stop, teammate. Go, buddy.
We have the E EMP. Device is under hostile control. We have the overload device.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
Actually, yeah.
What happened?
Protect our zone. They have the overload device.
When that enemy dude was flying through the air,
Right.
your teammate stopped him. Go, son.
The overload device is in our control.
Yeah, one more there, nice. One more there.
One more there,
Tank,
teammate.
tank, tank.
Nice. Go, 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 go,
Take
go,
that.
go, go.
Teammate, run that.
We picked up the EMP.
Took way too long, bro.
We picked up the device. Enemy control station overloaded.
Take that, teammate.
Yeah, dude. The teammate took so long, bro.
Located a new EMP device.
Yeah, I'm just hearing you. Like, teammate, take that, teammate.
Hostiles have the overload device.
Oh my days.
Whoa, that guy scared the hell out of me. I seen him, but I didn't think he was a bad guy.
Hostiles have the EMP.
no.
Move to secure. We have the overload device. EMP location reset.
Wow, the device just reset, bro. That's 3 down. Go, grab the bomb.
We picked up the EMP.
3 there.
Top green, bro.
The overload device is under hostile control.
I seen that as you're about to go pick up the device at reset.
Our
Yeah,
zone
that's
is
so annoying, bro.
overloaded.
Oh, he's still top green. Nice, teammate. So, bro, that guy's... I don't know how to kill him, to be honest.
Enemies are carrying the device.
Get off! One more, teammates. One more. One more there.
Device location reset. Running out of daylight. Close it down, Black Ops. Enemies are carrying the EMP. Protect our zones. They have the overload device.
Get off me.
Device acquired. Transport it to the enemy zone.
Why is teammate running that way for, bro? You just... Bro, man. Fuck.
Hostiles overloaded our control station.
Why'd you run back to our spawn for, bro? Idiot.
Did you have the overload?
Yeah, he did. And then he died, and then they scored him.
Located a new EMP device.
I'll see it. Oh my days.
Thank God we won that. Holy shit, teammate nearly fucking...
So easy.
Black Ops.
The teammate's like, too easy.
Remember that dude? I think it was last night with the boss, where he like goes to flash and he ran like that door.
What?
I think it was last night, that dude we had where that
Oh, he ran back
where
into
you're like,
den,
dude, are
and
you
he...
on the enemy team? Run
yeah.
the other way, yeah.
It was exactly what the teammate did. He could have just pushed forward with us. Like, even if he died, it would have been alright because he was with us and we all died. But the fact that he was by himself and died and then they just scored is frustrating to, like, watch happen.
If it was like a tie game and then like that score made them get the lead, that would have been so tragic.
Because they nearly scored as well, like, at the end of the game. But me and that teammate stopped that guy and then
Yeah,
just
I
let
think
the device just sit there. See if you pick it up, that adds an extra 30 seconds. I mean, even if you die, like, the game's gonna be over, but, like, there's no point picking it up when you can just watch it. The other ones need to score, not us. Right.
Alright.
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 You gonna learn today?
I'll learn today.
And you're like, no way, surely I'm gonna win that one game.
Yeah. And then you got half your team like wanting to forfeit and shit. And like, fuck.
Whoa. Mika!
Oh, then the other team.
The boys! No!
Oh
You're like, no
no.
way, I'm sure we're gonna win that one game.
Just talking about some of his teammates wanted to forfeit or some shit.
And you're like, fuck.
This map says it all. Fuck's sake.
This guy's upset us. No, he's so upset for. He said, this map says it all.
no.
That's what he said. This map says it all. That's what he said.
It's not really a good
we've
map
got
for spawn
these.
today.
I was watching a podcast. It was like Shotzi and shit, and Shotzi was saying like this is a good map because like the rats you can take. If someone's not watching it, you can like get through.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
Some pick
Right
up
on
those
point.
mid.
I versus
like,
Parrot
two,
Mika
okay.
person the other day or
Blinders.
yesterday.
What the
I'll
hell is
pick
that
up
loading
stairs
screen
without the
through there as
mic,
well?
so you know. Someone has stairs. Hopefully our teammate run point.
Hard point.
Sure.
You know what we're
Do
up
it.
against. Keep it tight or we're all screwed.
Wait, there's 3 of us with mics.
Hostiles have the
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
point.
One ran out is right.
Might be still on left
Might be
side.
going straight for spawn. I'm just gonna go back.
Yep. see that?
Hard point locked down.
I'll hold you this way. Behind us.
You
I got
would
one
have ran
lay
like
down.
way back.
Oh, behind. Fuck, there's one.
Teammate needs to pick that up, bro.
He's dead.
Still back.
Like that,
One
we
more.
never both should have never died. Like
One on at the moment. We flipped. Try and pull back.
Oh,
that's not good.
Got him off. Got another one. One
Bonus
more
out.
outside.
Next is
Hard
big
point
boy.
identified.
Dude, these guys are
What a
sitting
corner
in the
thing, that.
crazy ass corners, bro.
Hard point contested. Got the hard point.
I mean, good spot. Like, credit's true, bro.
Hard
Like,
point active.
I would have sat in the exact same corner.
Hostiles have the
fuck,
hard
he's just
point.
in behind that truck.
Oh, one's absolute. Watching flank. Outside. Nice.
That's
Two
dead.
dead. Huge.
Yep.
Let's get in there. Go.
He's absolute, bro. Get him.
Weak.
Yeah, mate's gonna kill me.
Oh, there's one more just like that in the mid.
Got
Got
him.
him.
We got spawning front now. Front.
I spawned out. Yeah. Spawned out.
Holy shit. Help me.
Oh, behind us, bro. What the?
Fuck. We got
Top
pinned.
window. Oh, he's weak. Top
Don't try
window,
and flip
man.
these spawns. Just go new. Next is Money Hill.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going
I'm
back.
rotating.
Someone hold far right. Someone hold bridge.
Hard point located.
I'll hold left side.
Mid's absolute.
Watch your mid from spawn.
Hard point is active. Got the hard point.
Yeah, one's on bridge. Stunned.
Bridge
Yeah,
dead.
he's stunned again. Still bridge, dead. Another one, dead.
Right side.
Nice.
Someone pick up right side. He died.
Bridge dead.
Nice. Good
On the
shit.
right
Is that
side.
right? I got bridge. Bridge,
Yeah.
bridge. I'm wanting, I can't peek.
Yeah. Right again. Absolute.
I got the bridge push if he comes.
I'm gonna nade
Bridge, two
bridge.
bridge.
Nading
Straight
bridge.
jump
Jump
down
out,
bridge.
jump out,
Under
he's going
bridge,
right.
under bridge, right. 2. Should be 2. Under bridge. Left door. Window. Hicks, you're playing so good.
Got him.
Good, man.
My god.
I'm
I suck.
rotating. What's coming right side door?
Yeah, I'm getting out of here. People.
3 down, boys.
Go new.
Alright, you go.
Yeah,
I'll
check it.
hold.
Tight.
good.
We're in the lead.
Yep.
Hard point
I'm on
identified.
P2 already.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I got 2 on next.
Nice. We should have spawns here. I got trophy on you.
Yep.
Yeah, one's on P5. He's wrapping P2 now. I know he's gone mid. Never mind. He went P1.
Okay, I'm watching a
He's
window.
dead. He's
P1.
dead. He's
Nice,
dead.
we
He
got
was
spawns. We got
downstairs.
spawns.
Nice.
One's coming front.
Front. One down.
Mid.
I'm gonna come help you front.
I got front.
Oh,
Just
they've
watch
got
mid.
hold.
One more
on
front.
that P3.
Yeah,
He's
if
low,
he
half
pushes,
health
he's
front.
dead.
Okay, I'm gonna let him.
Oh, one's
You
close
have it.
right. Fuck. Got beamed.
Toby.
Mid absolute window. Mid window.
Watch your window. Window dead. Good comms. Run rock, I'm pretty sure. Yep, run rock.
Hellstorm if you need.
I have no bullets, boys. I have 8 bullets. I got
He's
streaks.
weak back there, he's weak.
I'm gonna run window just for a gun.
I'm watching mid door.
He's dead. Another one close right.
Have the hard point.
Close.
Contesting hard point.
I got
Dead.
him.
Nice.
Got the hard point.
Alright, rotate
bullets.
new.
Oh,
We
behind,
need
behind.
P2 spawn.
He's stairs.
Hard
Nice.
point located.
Try and keep P2 spawn here. It's the tower spot.
What a
Window.
nade, mate, so.
Shit.
Thanks, buddy.
Come new,
I'm
come new.
holding up, no bullets.
Hard
Got
point
one on
down.
you.
Oh, he's so weak, bro. People.
Nading it.
Yeah, I'm letting too. He's got a trophy. He's close left.
Dead, dead,
Nice.
dead, dead.
Left
Weak,
again. Left.
Weak, weak. Nice.
Got one left. One's right side.
I'll hop on.
One's right side, please. Right side.
Left side, left side, left side.
Watch out for stairs.
Hey,
tag
Don't
heavy.
might push us out.
2 right side tag heavy. Both of them.
I got the
Got him.
flank, I got the flank. I'm holding flank.
I got no bullets. I'll jump on. Check me.
Yep.
I picked up. Oh, I'm picking up all these guns with no bullets in them. One's in there, bottom P1.
Side door, dead.
Just.
Hard point identified.
Oh, behind.
Behind us.
Hard point.
Sit up near, boys. Sit up near.
Yep.
They're on the ropes.
Fuck, this is a
Get off me, kid.
domination after they got ahead early. Oh, fuck
Hard
them.
point active.
I'm watching behind.
I'm on.
Yep.
Going trophy.
Got him.
Oh, mid.
I got a trophy.
Lift.
No, I don't.
Yeah, traded. Dead. Another one. Jump up.
Hostiles have the hard
One
point.
close front. I'm done.
behind me.
Probably gonna flank your
Behind.
staircase.
You gotta get
Oh, yeah,
first
one's on the
boys, I'm the
stairs.
only one here.
The field
Still,
is
Yeah, I
still
hard
spawning
point.
P2.
Fuck,
Still
sideways.
spawning P2. We're good. They might be trying to push through.
I spawn.
He's on the staircase. Nice.
One shot.
Fucking stair glitching. He spawned out. Pull back.
He's weak
One
on
down
hill.
point. Spawning out. Go get him off.
Hard point located.
Gotta go
There's
near,
two
boys.
there. You might need a.
Spawning a
don't waste
90
your
up on the
cruise.
right now. Very bad.
Keep your cruise for
Pardon?
P4 if we need it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
The outside one with the
Hardpoint is
rocks.
active.
Don't use it anytime
The
soon.
guild took the hard point.
Oh, spat on. One dead.
2 down, boys.
2 dead.
Alright, awesome.
Get your nades in. They don't have trophies.
Hard point contested.
I'm in, boys.
Nice.
Not
Great,
bad,
great.
Down.
They're still gonna
Last
be
one
at
at
the
the
back.
back.
Good
Last one
break.
at the back. Last one at
Going,
the back.
pushing him. Oh no, they spawned on me.
Moving now.
Fuck, it spawned on me. There's one more back
Okay,
there.
just watch the back.
I'm watching back door.
Get back there.
Contesting hard point.
Your trophy
Front.
system was
I got.
eliminated.
Yeah, I got
Hostiles
triple
have
chilled.
the hard point.
Two front.
Weak top window, yep.
Fast push and then go new.
More in the window.
Stairs, stairs,
One's
weak.
in the window,
Just go
weak.
real quick.
Alright, come new, please.
Got the
Hold
hard
on.
point.
Oh, nice. Get that scrap. Come new though. Everyone that spawns.
Yeah.
I'll go hold the right side.
Hard point identified.
MP1, I reckon. You still choke me, yo. You can't fucking kill
Hard
me.
point active. Hard point locked down.
I'm going left lane.
One's coming
That's a
stairs,
different
stairs.
guy. 2 left lane. I'll watch your right then. Yep, one on the right.
Window, weak.
Hardpoint
Window.
contested.
Yeah, nice.
More.
Took the hard point.
2 more.
I spawned out.
Nice, good win.
Hard point.
Yeah, I spawned out. Watch the back right.
Bombs
One
back.
side
gonna be
door,
right
jump up
side,
here
mate.
on the left.
Back. He's here.
Absolute right side. You jumping up.
Yep.
Nice.
Then
Best spawns again. Right side again.
He's weak front. Weak front. He's
Yeah,
pushing
nice.
Shit.
They both
Thank you,
got
boys.
ripped.
Bed.
Contesting hard point. Hard point.
Another one. Bridge.
in. Bridge dead.
Nice, easy win.
GG.
Nice, boys.
Resupply teams inbound.
Absolute clinic.
I'm loading up now, mate, but I just need to go wash
Well,
up
you
my
guys
plate.
had us on the
Well.
first 2.
12 and 23. Dookie boy.
Wait, can I not have a fucking bad game? Is that not alright?
Nah, it's not. Do better.
Who said that? Was that you,
Yeah,
Les?
I'll go more
You
time.
said that?
The fuck? Where's
GG,
Lesky
boys.
talking? Oh, look at your kills, man. And I was in
Shut up.
Let me know if she's. Alright, so we won that match, so we're up to 30 SR. I'll take that, I guess. It's not great. It's the worst.
Loading up now, mate. I'm just in the kitchen.
I'll wait for you. I'm on a 3-win streak, Zach.
Nice. Yeah, we won the. Well, I'm not sure, but I remember we won the game we got off on.
Yeah, but I was playing a little bit earlier as well, remember?
Yeah, no.
I wonder if you got SR as well. You might not burst the hackers though, so. You are.
Could have been before I got on.
It might have been like another day. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, I'm coming now.
Oh, no rush. It just said you are. So it just sends it. Okay, see you on the friends list.
And another one, it didn't send one through code. It sent it through Xbox.
Sending. That's party. Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, where did it all ever be?
I don't think Brock's gonna be on play anytime soon. I might be up
He
now.
said he's going for a shower.
Yeah, but his showers go fucking hours at this point, so. Could be 5 minutes, could be half an hour.
Just quick rush with Ash and get a whole squad wipe. That shit was fun.
Run out.
Get closest out of here. I don't want to play that map. I refuse to play that map. I don't refuse to play it, but I don't like playing it. I always get it though. Every time it comes up, I always manage to get it somehow. I don't know. The game hates me or what's going on there, but I should probably sort that out. Yeah, thanks for the like, Zach, buddy. Wait, where's an Umbreon, Zach? He's a real deal. You know the EV evolution?
Who?
Umbreon. You know who Umbreon is, yeah?
He's the dark version.
Yeah, of Eevee.
Yeah.
Well,
I said I
you...
do know him. When you
Fuck,
said
answer the
you know
question.
him, I said I do.
I didn't hear that.
Bro, it's my ears.
Tori says this to me all the time, and my ears are turned on.
I want it pristine.
I just can't understand bullshit.
Oh, they don't.
Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point contested.
Whoa. Oh, one's locker side, like at watching where they watch the overload point from. They're becoming
Control the
catches.
hard point.
Oh,
Oh,
just let him
Hostile
point. I
personnel
thought
have captured the hard point.
didn't realize teammate died. Ay.
one more catches, front catches. Go Zach, that's the route I was hitting before. I got one and died.
Hard point identified. Hard point
One's
identified.
catches.
Hostiles have the hard point.
He's laying down on time, but like weak. He's like, right, that guy right there.
Oh,
And we all just died.
he slid. Well, he was sliding.
No, we
Yeah,
all
like
four of us
that.
just died is what I said. Like, we're all dead. Means we spawn out. One's inners, one's outers. Don't even push the back anymore. Just try to hit it from the front. Because otherwise we get spawned out. One more on time. He's weak. Umbreon. How the fuck can you not win that teammate? Go next, actually. Just
We
go next.
control the hard point. Hard point located.
Spawn dojo, back on the locker side.
Hostile personnel have captured the hard point.
Catch is dead.
Hard point active.
One more, two, one catches, one's mid.
Oh, Lock is weak, bro.
Hostiles have the hard point.
One's dojo. Two mid cut, one's tagged.
One's front catches, bro. What the fuck?
One mid cut, one behind 10, and one's dojo. There's like 3 around that area. We need to start getting some points as well. Like, get smacked up right now.
Hard point contested. We control the hard point.
Should be coming behind you, Zach Walker's side.
Contesting hard point. Hard point identified. Hostile personnel have captured the hard
I came
point.
from mid cut. One did.
Hard point contested. Hard point locked down. Hard point is active.
He's at his rooftops, absolute. You're gonna get pushed back. 3.
Yeah, both of them. Servers and outers.
Hostiles have the hard point. We control the hard point.
3 dead. Servers and outers. Servers and outers. I need help. Outers got me. One's on point.
Hard point located.
There's 2 on point. 3 at all. 3 at all. 3 at all. Yeah, 3 at all.
Hard point active. Hard point locked down.
Oh, top broken. Top broken. He's there, Zach. Yeah,
cut.
yeah. Top broken, mid cut, and 1 bottom right.
The hard point.
Want to start hitting the outer route? Try to spawns for you. We never had a good hold on that last hill. We just need to get some more points on the other hills. So. Back catches, back. One's in catches.
Hard point identified.
I spawn back here.
Yeah, they came from out of red.
Catch is dead.
Captured the hard point. Hard point is active.
We're spawning back here.
Spawn dojo. Me and teammates spawn dojo.
That's 3 down.
Testing hard point.
Through the front.
Absolute dead. 1 more.
Hostiles have the hard point. We control the hard point.
One's front.
Hard point.
Yeah, absolute. 2. Nice, Zach. Good job.
Contesting
Oh,
hard
one more.
point.
Nice, Zach. I'm going you, bro. You're on your own there.
Yeah. Go.
Hard point contested. Hard point located.
Think they're coming for you. I knew.
Yeah, the lockers teammates got that lockdown.
Active. Hostile captures the hard point.
Mid cut, absolute mid cut. 1 bullet. He's going dirt. Yeah, nice.
Coming
Hard
left
point
side.
locked down.
Dojo. Fuck, man. One's on point. Going mid cut.
Oh, 1 me cut.
Yeah.
P1. I think teammate got him.
Teammate didn't get him. They all died. One mid cut. One's at close to Locker's heady. Like on the other side to you. We need to contest that. We need to contest that time, though, honestly. One dojo, front dojo.
Hostiles have
I
the
spawn
hard point.
catches.
Fuck.
Oh my lord, bro.
Hard point is active. Hostile personnel have captured the hard point.
Got one. One more on top.
Contesting hard point. Hard point locked down.
Excellent stun teammate.
Enemy Hellstorm launch
through the
detected in your
wall,
AO.
Three service.
Hard point contested.
I spawn on rooftop, Zach. I become spawning behind you.
One service.
Contesting hard point.
Oh, 1
Dude, he's so one shot, bro.
Hostiles have the hard
Just going you, just going you, just going you.
We control the hard point.
Top blue, top blue.
Hard point active.
Watch the flank, Zach. Watch the flank.
Yeah, behind catches.
We cut. Fuck, man. I was rushing behind. I don't know if teammate had it or not, but
Hostile
He
personnel
did.
have captured the hard point.
Yeah, I can't get it.
one's big cut. One's on the heady, one's top blue.
Hard point contested.
Just stay down, Zach. One's coming to your left, to your left.
Contesting hard point.
Oh,
Hostiles
mid cut
have
as
the
well.
hard point.
Teammate, are you blind?
He might be.
They are
You're
pressing
leaning
their
up, bro. You're
advantage.
shooting
Take
at me.
control of this.
Zach, just go to point, go to point.
Hard point identified.
I spawned way out, bro. Maybe behind you, potentially.
Hard point is active.
Yeah, they're coming from the
We
back.
control the hard point.
And catches,
Hostile
man. I
personnel
got
have captured
pinched.
the hard point. Hard point contested.
Got two. There's one more on point. One more on point. Teammates, how the fuck are you losing that,
I'm
bro?
gonna get there.
Contesting hard point.
Oh, one at the back. Wait.
Got him. Cashes.
I spawned two one.
That's where I lost it, bro.
Hard point contested.
I slid past one of them. I got one, but the dude that I slid
Got him. You have to go new, Zach. Even if like we lose this time, you have to go new. Just go new. Just gonna go to a new hill.
Point located. Hard point.
But wait, that only like 3 seconds or some shit. But just go, yeah, just stay there.
Lockers. Fucking one. shot,
Teammates
bro.
are there, but they're not running any gunfights at all.
Hard point locked down. Hostile personnel have captured the hard point. Control the hard point.
One and
One's
two.
10, yeah. Dojo, and Lockers. I got pinched.
passes.
Yeah.
We have strategic
I went 35 and 28. There's not much more I can do, right?
Yeah, I went pretty shit.
That's alright. Like, we didn't get beaten that bad considering how bad we were down, so.
So, you have a third now.
Finally.
Yeah, about time, man.
I ended up helping Sarah hang out in the washing.
Yeah, no,
See,
that
I
was-
told you,
that was
Zach.
best game on from when I got back.
Told you he would take longer.
It's not a bad bet.
What? You just don't play with us, Zach. It's okay.
I do. I got 28 SR for someone that got banned.
I got 45.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Going on broke.
Zach, why the fuck did you leave for?
I just said join on broke.
Oh. Just say that, bro. Don't just leave me.
I said it as I was.
Yeah, well, that's not good enough.
It is.
Brock, did you do your Wordle?
No.
No, I haven't done it yet for today. I didn't do mine yesterday. Oh no, I failed mine yesterday. Haven't done mine today.
Can you please sort that out?
I'll give it a go.
Can we overload out of
Done
here,
it
please?
last night,
Overload,
but
go
we'll-
on. Get it, go on.
Me and Meso did it last night.
You mean this morning?
Yeah, well, it's same shit, different smell, Meso.
It's not, it's completely different, to be honest.
Get search out of here. What do you mean?
No, get overload out of here. I can deal with search. What are you talking about, Zach? You love search.
So, man up. No, I don't.
You do. 2 against 1. Brock voted for overload, get out of here as well, so.
I know where I put a word in, got nothing.
Wait, Zach,
What word you use?
do you only, like, not, like, search because you only get one life? Say broke? Is that what he
I
said?
said broke.
Yeah.
Half time, man.
Yeah, I gotta play it more slow. I don't like playing COD slow. I like running around gunning kids.
Yeah, I used to be like that as well once, Zach, but I learned to be patient.
No way, I got 4 letters on my second guess, but they're all in the wrong spot.
Like, are they correct? Are they green?
No,
No,
you
they're
just said they're
yellow.
in the wrong spot, bro. Listen. Open
Oh.
your ears.
I thought he said they're in the one spot. I was like, what does that mean?
I put tunas,
Tuners.
like tuna, like a fish.
I know what fish is. I know what tuna is.
So I got T, N, A, and S all in the wrong
Control
spot.
the
These nuts.
Is this what you said, Santa? Because I would have put that too.
Shot, one, shot, one.
Shop.
Dude. Zach.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Come on, bro.
hardpoint contested.
I was diving him to the point, man. What do you mean? What do you want from me?
But I had the point under control. You just need to watch open.
Contesting hardpoint.
One white wall, white wall, white wall, white wall.
We claimed the lead. Widen the gap.
Behind.
Behind 18er. Yeah, shot maybe.
Yeah, one shot. One white wall pushing
Hardpoint
on.
contested.
I'm so fucking scared right now. Oh, dude, the guy in town got me, bro. Can the guy that was pushed, shot, fucking do something, please?
It's our team. I don't know what he's doing.
Oh, bro, he's on Mars.
Hardpoint
That's what he's doing.
One you.
I remember watch.
You.
I was going top, I think. Yep. Top. He's not dead. He's very weak though. Up top.
Satellite dead.
Up top. Dude, he's... Thank you. Jeez.
Teammate, I'm literally watching you.
Bro, one's up top. One more up top. One more up top.
Contesting hardpoint.
Dead. He jumped on.
Yes. Shot. Dead. Shot dead.
Multiple directions. Teammates trying
Is
to
anyone
play
up top?
directions that someone already has locked down.
Like I can. Yeah. Teammate should have been up top. I just seen someone up there, man.
One more, Brock. One more. I got one.
Hardpoint contested.
Nice. Shot. Dead. I'm going towards you.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Oh, shot. One shot. One's top red as well.
Don't know where he is. I'm on point.
Sorry, I'll get you cut. Plane heady, Zach. Plane heady.
Contesting hardpoint.
Oh, I was stunned,
Hostile
man. I
personnel
could
have
turn.
captured the hardpoint.
Right, here you go.
Fucking hate that.
I'm dead. White wall dead.
I'll get time.
Oh, no, I got time. Watch me cut. Half full. I don't have a trophy.
White wall dead.
I don't have a trophy either.
I'm close to. Oh, behind 18 up. He's gone around back green.
Yeah. P5. I got out of the way.
Let's go on blue. Back blue.
Yeah, one on point, one at a time.
Oh, we're 2 green as well. We should spawn new, right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Someone grab top blue. Zach, you wanna grab time?
Yeah, I'll grab
I'll
one,
grab
yeah.
one.
Identified.
I'm close to a trophy. One on you. Oh, he's weak at the front. Was weak.
Who's a bot?
Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint locked down.
One pushing right side.
One's top.
Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint.
Someone's at the back. Push on
We
time.
control the
Got the
hardpoint.
guy at the back.
Not sure where he went.
On the stairs, dead. One more at the back.
The hardpoint.
On time. Back left.
Oh, there's 2 back there. One went upstairs.
Front blue, absolute.
Hardpoint locked down.
One more on the stairs, absolute.
Personnel have
Nice.
captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint contested.
Alright, I'm going you.
I'll just collect the scrap.
I'm not going you.
One shot.
He's front blue.
Hardpoint located.
He's like weak as. Suka is who you looking for? Or Suka, what the fuck
Oh
is
my lord. Top green's got a trophy up there. Not
Hardpoint
gonna make
active.
through the window.
Plane heady. Band okay.
Hostiles have the
That's him.
hardpoint.
Nice, bro.
Oh, top green still.
Top green dead.
green. I'm going back green.
Dead on time. 1 minute, mid cut, mid cut, mid cut. Nice.
Hardpoint contested.
Did we get
Hostile
1v1?
personnel have captured the hardpoint.
No way.
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Contesting hardpoint.
Mid cut, one mid cut. He's on P1, on P1, on P1. One plane heady.
Yeah, you take it from that box.
He's not there anymore.
Hardpoint identified.
Two dead. One more white wall.
Hardpoint is active.
He's on time now.
Hostile personnel.
On time absolute, on time absolute. There's 2 on time.
We control the hardpoint.
Stun someone. White wall maybe. One's top blue. One's coming shop, absolute, outside shop. In shop, 1 bullet. Nice.
Outside shop, dead. Inside
That
shop.
team, we are in the lead.
Shop dead. I'm going you.
Top blue.
Hardpoint located.
Satellite. I'm stunned. Satellite absolute. Nice.
Dead.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint active.
I spawn satellite side.
Good.
Hardpoint locked down.
Last shop.
Top red then. Satellite, 2 satellite.
Oh shit, teammate, what the fuck?
Two satellite. One's hella weak, hella tagged up. Was anyway.
Hardpoint contested.
Absolute on time. Behind Jen. Just go on you, just set up on you. We got heaps of time to set up.
Hardpoint identified.
You got time's that?
Yeah, I got time.
Trophy for?
I don't have a trophy.
Hardpoint is active.
Mid cut, dead. 1 more mid cut. 2. Thank you.
One more mid cut. You might push top green though. Teammate shredded.
Mid cut, dead. Half full. Nice. Easy.
Well done,
I was a
second.
hill kitten. Meow.
For everything the guild stands for.
And Brock even
I
still
died
got more
12.
time than me.
I died 12 times.
That's how many kills I got.
Whoa. Oh, it sounds people were.
Damn, bro.
He didn't. He only got. Yeah, well, nice. Cop it.
From shade.
Alright, for the word. I've got 4 letters in the wrong spot.
Think, Brocky, thing.
Oh, I put nasty, and all 4 letters are still in the wrong spot.
You got this. I believe.
25 plus 6 is plus 31. What are we believing in?
Brock and his Wordle.
Got it. 4th.
Yeah,
Nice.
me and Mato got on our fourth as well.
I believe the second I got 0 on the first one, nothing at all grey, and then the second time I got 4 yellows, 4 yellows again on the
I'll
second.
tell you
time.
mine. I'll tell you how I did on my goes.
Bro, mine was cooked. I had like 2 guesses with like 2 letters, like the A and the N, both in the same spot. I went like
So
sand
first
and
word, I got
something
the
else,
N in the
and
wrong
I
spot.
both in-
The second word, I got the N in the right spot and the T in the wrong spot. The third go, I had the T in the wrong spot, the A and the N in the right spot, and then I went to stand and just killed it.
Put it like, yeah.
But that's
All right,
when,
let's go. Can we get rid of raid? Oh, yeah, I played Gridlock earlier, and I actually didn't play too bad. It was pretty good. I don't know why, but it's not the CDL map set. So it doesn't make sense to me.
It's when we were doing that FND last night where I was like,
That's
full
so good
fine
for
for some
us.
reason. 'Cause I
1,
fucking
2, 3,
doesn't
4.
normally happen
1,
on
2,
SND.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. 7 teams ahead of bye.
1738. They don't get it.
So the Panthers have only lost 1 game. Is that the Bulldogs? We've lost.
Yeah, Gridlock again. It plays alright, bro. Might take a bit to get used to, but it's good. I don't mind it. That's the guy that went double negative and told me to get a job. He is like, Twitch streaming is not a real deal. Yo, Kingy, what's going on, bro? Appreciate the follow, man. Good luck in this game, bro. Good luck, have fun.
He's gonna hopefully not watch your stream.
It's a 25-second delay, so just fine, not streaming, sniping, GG. All good, bro. It's all good, man. It's on a 25-second delay anyway, so it's pretty hard to stream snipe. But I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate the follow, man.
Alright, let's get it.
Let's get it.
Oh, is it SND? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Haven't played SND on this map.
Yeah, I played it once, and that was earlier today, but I won. That was the guy who went double negative, bro. Zach. He's talking shit. This map.
Search and destroy.
Going on our team.
No, it was in the,
No.
it was on their team earlier. He was talking shit.
I don't think it's anyone in the lobby. It's just this map, SND search. Ooh, snapping back at Tina.
Like A side.
They could be
Overpass, head.
Oh, you can't go that way.
Oh shit, one's sniping back right. Like back A side. How many snipers? The guy overpass is sniping as well. How many snipers are there on the team?
on top overpass. Watch out, teammate.
I just got sniper. Kingy is back right, man.
This year's sniper top overpass.
He's watching that way, Brock and Zach, so yeah, he's back there. He was. There he is. He's good, Brock.
Well,
I think they're gonna fight B, bro. Just having a guess.
Enemy device is set.
Good guess.
Brock, I love how you died and didn't even call out where he was.
Well, you said he was sniping overpass, and I peeked it, and he killed me. So I just thought Zach might have known he's still overpass.
No, I said he might have.
Well,
He
when
might
I
have
was
went
crossing-
overpass.
when
I didn't know he was
crossing, I
overpass.
was looking that way and I didn't see anything.
I just want to let you guys know that I got my one. So
I didn't.
Yeah, none of us did.
Search and
I was
destroy.
Probably
lying.
Mason.
alright, let's go. Let's go A. We can because if there's heaps of them sniping, we can get away with it. Try rush planet, get it done. Someone watch our mid cut flank, and someone watch like the front. I'll got the bomb there. I'll smoke the side. Oh, that's good.
Well,
Get bomb done.
We're planting the bomb.
Just keep watching the flank. Just keep watching the flank.
yeah, I'm watching the.
Bomb is on.
No way he knew I was there, bro. He's sniping in the back door.
Last one one standing.
Oh no, one's snapping me,
Protocols
cut.
are clear.
Both snipers are left, but they might have picked up a gun.
Hostile
That's one that's snapping me.
He doesn't have enough time. Let's go. He doesn't have enough time.
Oh nice.
I just ran for my life, bro.
For a second there, I thought wall diffusing.
Yo, Nick, buddy, what's going on? I planted bomb.
performance rating updated.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if we watched the flanks, like each other side, and I was just floating, I could like help out wherever needed. And I like that guy that was like the guy that killed Brock, bro. I was like jumping on the wall and shit, like just trying to juke him out.
Remember that mission outcomes influence promotion
Did not like
prospects.
to look over and plan B.
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke it out and push up. There's two there. I got.
I knew that was gonna work.
What a nade. One street. He's going towards B.
You good, bro?
No, just courtyard.
He might wrap it, Zach, but he was in the street.
No way, bro. Can I get a fucking kill? This king you guys better get Elstorm.
Enemy set the bomb.
You see me.
Him the side, Zach.
Ah.
Bro, how we lose a round after I got a double kill with a nade? How the fuck does that happen?
Kingy, mate. What's the main account, mate? Fucking hell.
It's either that or he's fucking cheating. There's
No,
way.
it's not, mate.
He doesn't play. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Fucking sweaty cunt.
He's at the Hellstorm now as well.
Search and destroy.
Hey, no, surely Hellstorm. Rocks are on hands. Let's do the same thing. Bomb down.
This Kagan will take notice. Bomb acquired.
Nice.
Bomb plant in progress. Bomb active.
One steep flank. Don't push it. He's just... Don't chow that, Zach. Yeah, just pull out and just back up. They're both back there. Watch that, Zach. Yeah. Nice shots, bro. One more back there. Just check. Hey, time. You don't need a chow. Just check at 7.5. Yeah, check now. It's playing on the other side. Where's that Kingy guy? Died this
Yeah,
time?
I killed it finally.
Oh, sorry,
Make sure
wasn't
it stays
falling.
that way.
Oh, good, bro. This is my first gridlock to destroy. Not that it's an excuse, but.
Search and destroy.
Alright.
They're gonna go B again.
Nah, not off the last round. I mean, they won the round, but I don't think they'll do that again.
With you, bro. On A mid, nice. Good trades.
One's 18er, back 18er, sniping.
Good shit, bro.
One hostile.
Last one's back 18er,
bro.
last one's back 18er. Brock, go for the ace. He was back 18er last scene.
MTC is nearing zero. Close the deal.
Yeah,
Round is
bro.
ours.
Should have hit that.
Exemplary work.
I just let Brock run free. I was just like not even engaging or anything. I was just.
Yeah, just waiting
No,
for
I
the call out if he died.
Because then the next guy was there and the last guy watching the bomb.
Well, it's like basically a 3v4 at this point because our teammates hasn't
Search
got
and
a kill.
destroy.
So I wasn't worried about him getting a kill. Well, that's it. Same thing. Same thing.
Right, neither's there, so it's a 3v3.
Success guarantees continued access to premium benefits.
They're probably
We
gonna
got
get
the
back
bomb.
there though. Sure, front. When you push in, they're already smoking like mid cut.
I'm stunned.
The bomb has been planted.
Mid cut, dead.
Nice, good kill was there.
Oh, cut. Oh, deep flank.
Yeah.
He's gone cut out in there. That little cubby. Not sure.
What? Oh, that's crazy timing, bro. He got on the outside. What the fuck was that?
Neutralize them.
Don't chow, don't chow.
Go
You
for the
don't need to
knife.
chow. Yeah, he was trying to knife him.
And then teammate was gonna go for the knife.
Nice, good man.
No way.
Do not let up. That is 3 straight.
Teammate was just running at him with a knife.
No, the enemy was running at the teammate with the knife.
He saw me pull
No, I was
back
spectating the
worst.
low ski dude.
Oh yeah, but that was after the enemy guy was chasing him with a
Saw you
knife.
Pull back the worst time.
And then he tried it for like the enemy dude. He's like, what the fuck?
What's going on there?
Search and destroy.
I mean, he's finally on the board though. Well, they're both finally on the board, but yeah. Brock's getting warmed up for a fight.
Defend the objective.
He wants to throw.
Got damage with a nade. Mid.
Oh shit, they're all B.
All
B.
I say all of it, but there was two. Sniper.
Oh, shot. I just got gunned down with a pistol.
Almost out of time. Buckle down and take this.
That's the dude that
One
got me,
shot.
mate, so.
One shot, and one's all the way at the back.
One hostile remains. Take them out.
Nice work, boys. One more dude.
Keep pushing. That is 4.
Should probably put the snipers away now, I reckon.
No, that's all good. There's a reason why. Logged them last night, so. You really?
Search and destroy.
1738. Yeah, baby.
What you gonna do?
The guild
Same
has
thing?
chosen
Yeah, same
to
thing.
invest in you. Do not
Team, pick
let
up the
us
bomb.
down. Bomb
I
acquired.
think he's got the idea though. So.
No, waste one shot back dojo.
Bomb dropped.
Oh, that's not good. That is
Oh, my lord.
definitely not
Do
good.
your job.
Well, it was bound to fail once, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Your metrics are slipping. Clean.
All right, now that is not gonna work anymore. Can definitely say that. It might.
Come back.
They might not be expecting it next time, but let's just.
Not fucking
I
die.
guess let's just win this next round and close it out.
Search and destroy. Protect the objective. Hellstorm inbound.
Do it,
Last one standing.
Sorry, Joe. Doing
Protocols
that
are
column
clear.
wall.
Hostile charges primed.
Oh, unlucky.
Work
Fuck, bro.
is not done.
We just died, man.
And they're not sniping anymore.
That's fair. If I was down like 5-2, I wouldn't be sniping anymore either. Alright,
Search and destroy.
wanna do a B hit?
Yeah, give it a go.
They
expect us to switch
Zach, go in the shop and watch the flank, and Brock, watch my long through 18er.
We got the bomb.
Like, go to the right side of 18er and heady. Yeah. Just wait for a second, see if they push anything. I'm smoking it. One's here. Pick up.
Oh my days, I got ripped off the heady. He's in shop.
Two mid cut. Oh my god.
Is nearing zero. Close the deal.
Yes.
Stocks are plummeting. Get this under control.
No way we lose this, bro.
Teammate better do something.
Imagine choking.
Oh, Scopes has just decided to step up somehow. I was thinking he was down most of that game.
Yeah, teammate kind of needs to help out a little bit. 2 and 8. It's rough.
Search and destroy.
Fuck, we're attacking as well. Let's just play slow.
Wait for a pick, we reckon.
Destroy
Yeah,
bomb
I wouldn't say go overpass, but like watch the mid. Like you can sit down bottom if you want. I'm gonna watch the push through street. Teammate's just fucking sending it. That's how we die. If I go deep flank, Zach. Oh, sorry. I got the underpass push soon. Is that overpass?
Yeah,
Not
overpass.
time left to lock this down.
I got one.
He's in
I'm gonna get above there.
P flank dead.
Yeah. Zach, come up. Watch 18 if you want.
Cutting across
We're
now.
setting up the bomb. Only one enemy left. Neutralize them.
Nice, good shit.
You are catching eyes over here.
GG, boys.
Teammate to do something.
GG's.
That was a lot closer than it should have been, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I was getting a little bit scary. When it was like 5-4, I was like, oh no.
Just wanted to make it a photo finish.
Yeah, make it interesting. Plus 24. Plus 24.
You wanna know something rigged, Mesa?
What? You got like 48 or some shit? 50 something?
I got 39.
Yeah, but you're also in gold as well. I'm black.
Yeah.
Brock, you're supposed to look for a match, bro.
What are you talking about?
What are you doing about? What are you talking about?
Everything.
Anything?
Yes, sir.
Bro. Oh my fucking god, nigga.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Jesus, can't be saying that, bro.
What are these names, bro?
Bro, this. Do you not remember this Mason Alican from Black Ops 6?
Did I freaking absolutely put him on the spit or what?
Oh, he's pretty good.
I call him
Did
out.
we beat him or not?
It's pretty good.
Nah. Not pumped.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Sorry.
Fuck, man, Colossus.
Sorry, bro.
Hate this map, bro, with a passion.
Bro, he's pretty good.
Take it easy on me, bro.
Are they talking about the same base now? I think it might be a different one. I'm not being that good, bro.
Yeah, you've been playing since fucking all the cards, mate.
Yeah, but I'm not good.
Yeah, this Mason he's good. You're always top fragger, mate.
Too hard, bro.
First name
Why do we
Ryan,
get
second name
Colossus for, bro? How do we get Colossus?
Paul. I wasn't voting, man. I was
Yeah, but still, I vetoed
Fucking
it, bro.
glasses.
Fucking someone sort that out, please. Haven't played Yemen in like fucking 3 weeks at this point.
game doesn't. No one likes Yemen.
I
Are
do.
they trying to
What's
veto
wrong with Yemen,
another
bro?
CPL as well?
But G ain't it? They
I
don't.
know,
Play.
no one votes for it.
Yeah, why?
Well, like everyone vetoes it. I mean,
If they want to be like the pros, man, get in the fucking pro league. But you're not a pro, brother. You're just a weenie.
mate, calm.
No, I like Yemen. All right, leave it alone.
Safety's off. We're not here to make
I'm
friends.
not saying anything. People just keep vetoing it.
Well, stop vetoing it.
What do you mean to say?
Hostiles have the hard point.
Tell them not veto it.
Running Meso.
One right.
Hard point locked down. Contesting hard point.
Oh, bro, he jumped off and then jumped up. Detonated.
One's behind the heady.
Hard point contested.
Jump up, dead.
Push sure if you can, Meso. Got hill time.
Got the lead.
One more. Nice. We should have spawns.
Contesting hard point.
We have spawns.
Oh,
Yep.
he's one shot. I thought he was dead.
It's alright. It's alright. Just set up on you. Someone's on you. Someone's on you.
I spawned out on yellow.
Hard point identified.
One more in the lobby. One more in the lobby. I got one. Teammate, they got ult, bro.
Hard point is
One's out the
active.
back, Zach.
Yeah, the back.
Field took the hard
He's
point.
half health. Yeah, no, thank you.
Don't have trophy on time. No trophy. No trophy. No trophy.
I got no shots on.
Hard point contested. Hard point locked down.
One's in the back. One's in the back. Go on.
I
Oh.
slid looking the other way and I had like 3-6.
What is teammate doing, bro? He's on Mars. Zach, we're coming, buddy.
Made it to hell. And he shot the back.
I got pinched from every direction, bro.
Contesting hard point.
I'm deep.
Just go new. Just go new.
Hard point located.
I got pinched from statue, fucking the back and the side. I got one more going tunnel. On tunnel. Nice. My teammate got him. Should be swimming yellow.
Got the hard point.
Oh, they did come back. As you said it, I turned around.
Oh, back heading.
He one dead. Yellow going back to probably heady.
Point contested. The field took the hard point.
Oh, one more on the
Hard
heady.
point
Who?
locked down.
Oh my days.
Got the hard point. Contesting hard point.
Should be spawning blue. Go new. Go new. Go new. Go.
One there anyway?
Yeah, I got one. There's one more.
Point identified.
Just go new. Just set up.
Hostiles have the
Right,
hard
spot
point.
there, spot
Yeah.
there.
Teammates got spawns, yeah.
Two max boxes.
I got yellow lobby. Just watch your front.
Hard point is active. Hard point locked down.
Trophy on top of you.
Contesting hard point.
Two pushing on the back. Two pushing on the back.
From.
He caught me with a trophy in my hand. That's so unlucky.
Dude, one's yellow lobby. Absolute, bro.
It broke way too easy.
That's actually just one,
You
to be
want-
honest. One statue, one's on time.
This guy's
Hard point
putting it where
contested.
the the sun don't shine.
One more for you, one.
I'm having a terrible game. Holy.
It's not just you.
One more yellow, one more yellow. One on yellow, one on point.
Hard point
Alright, we need to step up in this rotation. Like, holy shit, bro.
We really do.
Trophy on time. I'm watching the push from old.
Alright, one's wrapping.
Yeah, they're coming from yellow.
Dead.
Watch your step.
I got stuck. Somehow I didn't get stuck. He stuck me, but it didn't blow up and I didn't die.
Contesting hard point.
Jump up, absolute.
Hostiles have the hard point.
Nice, Zach. Good job. Like, I still coming yellow, still coming yellow.
Hard point
One's coming out the back. Coming out the back.
Oh, he's on. He's on.
Dead.
got the hard point.
Now we're going to the boot. Coming up from the back.
Behind it.
Hard point.
One's coming around the back, one's coming around the back.
Don't
Point
pick you.
identified. Contesting hard point.
That's three down, that's three dead, three dead, three dead, three. Go.
Last one's backstairs. Last one's backstairs.
Hard point is active. The field took the hard point. The hard point.
Free on.
There's still one at the back, still one at the back. And one lobby as well.
Oh, weak. He's at the back.
Wait, he reached that to
Side door, bro.
Got the hard point.
When I call out lobby, bro, someone needs to watch that fucking mid. I can't watch that with an SMG. I can't watch that cut. One's on weak. He's tagged.
We're down, but not out, Black Ops. Time to get
do that.
cover.
One's front, one's back. Down.
Contesting hard point.
Just go.
Hard point locked down. Hard point located.
One's at old. He might come tunnel.
Took the hard point. Hard point active. Got the hard
On
point.
the blue side.
Dead.
Tunnel, weaker.
One's blue shipping container. Oh my god, there's a house on. I'm getting inside.
Yeah, anything else on?
Hostiles have the hard point. Contesting hard point.
He's on boat.
Teammate, help me, bro.
Hard point contested.
The house storm's gone, bro. Get on the fucking time.
Locked down. Contesting hard point.
I think it was just hanging in tunnel.
Hard point contested.
Dead. We're gonna need a massive hold at P5, bro. Massive hold here.
One yellow dead.
Hard point identified.
Got a trophy up.
Contesting hard point. Hard point is active. Got the hard point.
One's coming back yellow, and one's pushing yellow lobby. Two. One teammate got one. There's still one at the back. Still one at the back. Two front.
Oh, the one out the back's one shot.
Hard point contested.
Absolute nice.
I spawned out.
Oh, lobby, yellow lobby.
Dude, teammate, what the fuck are you doing? P1, bro. Two lobby. One's close right. Close right, absolute. We need to start winning some fucking P5 rotations. Holy shit, bro. It's horrible.
We probably lost about 80 to 100 seconds.
Teammate.
I don't think we've got any good time on that hill. Like, none. Whatsoever.
Hard point active.
Absolutely disgraceful.
Hostiles have the hard point.
Fuck, sorry, Messi.
Teammate's not playing time. I mean, I don't have a lot of time, but he's not playing time at all.
One's close right, laying down.
Oh, that's too weak.
Fuck's sake.
Contesting hard point.
Absolute on time. Absolute on time. Nice.
Hardpoint locked down.
We need to play perfect Call of Duty here now. Like, absolute perfect.
Hardpoint contested.
One's on me.
He's going statue.
Hardpoint identified. Contesting
I'm
hardpoint.
going back, people.
Dead.
Got the hardpoint.
Spawned out.
Yeah, one's blue lobby, one's blue lobby. Teammates on time, he needs help though.
Hardpoint is active.
Nice.
Hardpoint
I spawn back here, I spawn back here.
Hostiles have the
They're
hardpoint.
still on.
Hardpoint contested. Got the
Nice.
Teammates by himself, but they'll be spawning back though.
Yeah, I spawn back there, just try hold.
Hardpoint contested.
Please help. One's at the back. Dead. We're gonna have to go new at some point as well, so but we gotta hold.
Yeah, watch your side door. Got him weak. They could be rotating.
The native one coming strong.
Dead. Go new, go new, go. Everyone go new.
Hardpoint located.
Do it new.
One statue, Mason.
The statue got me. We need to rotate though.
They're in tunnel.
They win.
Hardpoint active.
Oh, I got
Secure
one.
the hardpoint. Everybody failed. This operation needs a hard.
GG boys.
GG, bro.
I like shit. So boys.
That's right.
How does this best play, bro? Are you serious?
4 pieces, no soda? Oh,
Bro,
yeah.
Bro, I went off at the end there, bro. Like on that P2 man, I was destroying kids.
What the hell are you second?
Gosh, bro.
Oh, it's 'cause
How
I'm
this guy
first.
first?
And I'm lagging
Oh,
too.
he had 10 more kills.
Oh, hell yeah.
40 to win space even for the L hurts, man. So good. I'm up 109 for today, so.
It's not bad.
Damn it, man.
It's all good, Zach, buddy. Don't worry about it, man.
Wasn't a good
Yeah, man, we all have bad games. It's still good. I know it's funny when I saw some. Send the search, son.
Who else is burping? I know why I'm burping.
Up and Gary?
Yep. Was that you burping, Mason?
Yeah, it was.
You drinking just like a Coke or an energy drink? Probably just a Coke. Probably too late.
I've been
for
drinking
energy.
water, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Energy drink.
I
Energy drink
know.
at 8 o'clock at night is absolutely absurd.
Well, it must be absurd.
Get overload out of it. It's the same people again. Oh, it's only still the same people.
What you gonna be?
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Nothing, bruh.
Yeah, nothing. What are you talking about?
What do you want me to talk about? That's the real question.
nuts.
That was so dry, bro. Fucking shut up. That was it. That wasn't even a good
It was a
one.
perfect layout. Sorry, my son.
No, nothing interesting to talk about that. So that's not even interesting to talk about.
They
So
know we're here.
change
Go
the
out,
topic,
Black Ops.
please.
It came for you in the mail today.
I'll give you mail, mate.
Oh,
Hostiles have the hard point.
On time, dead. Should this one on white wall?
yeah, I'm jumping on.
Plane heavy, plane heavy, plane heavy. Plane heavy and mid cut, plane heavy and mid cut.
Oh, on time, weak.
Zach, stop dying, bro. Stay alive.
Down.
I'm sorry, man.
Testing hard point. Leads ours.
It hurt me,
Stay on
Dad.
task.
Oh, the bell.
Top blue. Top blue and white wall.
The guild took the hard point. Hard point identified. Hard point contested.
Top blue, bro.
Got the hard point.
One's going to you.
Careful, bro.
Two
Yeah,
on
yeah.
there.
Two.
Hard point is active.
Ow.
The hard point.
One pine tank.
Top red, dead.
Enemy took the lead. Make them lose.
Dead.
Oh, dude, that's the worst one. I watched that doorway shot.
Hard point locked down.
Top red and two bottom satellite. Front satellite. It's going good, Mark, man. It's going good. It's a bit of a battle, but I'm up about 100 SR today, so I'm going pretty good, man. How are you, bro?
Got the hard point.
Front blue, top red, top red and front blue.
Oh, shot,
Top blue.
Got two front blue satellite.
Have the hard
Top blue, front blue, satellite, everywhere. Just go new.
Either everywhere.
You're falling behind, Black Ops.
You wanna grab time, Zach? I'll get plane heavy. Rock and watch the cut.
Oh, on you, dead. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, that lady nearly killed me.
I don't have a trophy.
Locked down.
Neither do I.
Mid cut, bro. Fuck, bro.
What do you mean? I was watching back green.
Why?
The guild took the hard point.
I thought you.
They're rapping.
I thought you had
Green
mid
and
cut, bro.
Bangalore.
No, I thought you had mid cut.
No, to me, I was watching that from the broken window. It's not
Who
green.
knows what teammate was doing then?
Hard point locked down.
I thought I got shot from mid cut because I thought someone had mid cut locked down. Pushing you, one white wall, one white. Oh, I got one. There's one more.
Oh, he's so weak.
I'm spawning in Narnia. Zach, you have to make a play from your position.
I'll try.
He's coming.
Contesting hard point.
Well, I just got pushed on old. Like, why are you coming to old for?
No, it's all good. That's good. We want that.
Hard point is active.
Unless you spawn out in the middle.
There must have been.
I know, but like, why?
What's the scrap time, bro?
That's that bleed. Go in front. Go in front.
2-1, 2-1.
Enemies took the lead. Make them regret
Yeah,
it.
two out the back. One's going front, I think.
Yeah, bro. If I ran into hackers, man, it's not a fun time. Top blue, top blue, dead.
Oh my days, bro. He's weak.
One close left when you go inside, bro.
Oh, I got two one more time.
Barely D1. Yeah, I'm only plat 2, so I'm not that high just yet, but playing against a diamond soon, obviously. But that's future plans. One's top blue. Someone get time, someone get time.
So they've already rotated. Yeah,
Got
I'm
the
on.
hard point.
So I'm on old, so I spawned out.
Top green. Fuck, man, that's so much timing, bro. Like, it's crazy. The timing that I get there.
Got one top blue.
The guild took the hard
The minute I look away, he's absolute close right on the point. Front green.
Hard point
Nice.
locked down. Hard point contested.
Oh, he's not on front time there.
Hostiles have the hard point.
He's weak on time, but I got pushed from the
Contesting
plane.
hard point.
Finished
Got
from
the
plane.
hard point.
teammate, bro. Why are you looking right?
Hard point.
So my teammate's walking right in front of me, bro. Like,
Oh, my days. One's 18 up, one's top 10.
They cut still.
Hard point locked down.
18 and tank. White wall.
Hard point is active. Got the hard point.
That was 18.
Hard point contested.
Zach, he's absolute, bro. Absolute on time. Around the back, around the other side. That's him.
Contesting
That's
hard
good shit.
point.
Green. Yeah, green and mid cut.
Hard point contested.
2 mid cuts still.
I got one.
Go on.
White wall.
Wall.
Yeah, white wall. One. I only seen one.
Hostiles have the hard point. Contesting hard point.
2 times.
Top blue.
Hard point contested. Hard point locked down.
One's on you. Dead.
White wall weak.
Hard point active. Got the hard point.
On the heady.
On the heady, bro.
behind.
Someone. Top red, bro.
One behind us. Got him.
Where was top red?
I spawned blue.
You seriously gotta sort that out.
Failed with the hard point. Hard point locked down.
Got two.
They're coming in back red.
The one will be top. Concussed 2 people. Two. Please send help.
One top red, one bottom red.
Got the lead.
Top red dead. Behind satellite.
Dead. Go you.
Hard point located.
Got one and all.
Oh, one's on time now. With the nuke. With the tree.
Hard point is active.
Should be spawning over that side still. P5, two P5. Yeah. I couldn't read that spawn. I didn't.
Contesting hard point. Hostiles
One
have
time,
the
one
hard
time.
The way he's playing heady as well.
point. Hard point contested.
Two on time. One's hella weak.
Teammate should put a
Oh, one
side
back out,
on
one
this
playing heady.
When it's like that, we gotta stop pushing from the front. We can't. P1 dead. Just let's go new. Let's just set off on you. There's no point pushing old.
One's watching mid
now.
cut.
White wall as well.
Yeah. Got one on the back. We should have spawns now.
The guild reclaimed the lead.
They're coming through.
Hard point
Flying
locked
runner.
down. Lead's ours. Stay on task. Hard point active.
Watch top, Zach, bro.
Oh, white wall, two.
2 top. 3. One might push the back. 2.
Okay, one's already. I got one top blue steps. One more came down, and one's at the back. At least from what I saw when I saw. One's front, back satellite.
Oh, one dead on, one at the back.
Got the hard point.
Absolute on point.
Contested.
There's two now.
Oh, one's like side door going back, pushing the back.
Alright, let's just rotate.
Yeah.
We can't.
You're losing. Switch it up. Hard point located.
Don't have trophy ready. Thank you.
I got a trophy on time for you.
I'll let you mid.
One's playing heady.
Teammates got mid apparently.
Hard point is active. Hard point locked down.
One's P2.
That is an enemy hostile.
Hostiles have the hard point. Contesting hard point. Got the hard point.
There's one more close.
Up top, dead.
One make up.
Wake up,
One make up. Mid-cut dead. One more mid-cut, one more mid-cut, one more mid-cut.
Now we have to keep it.
Playing heady. Top green.
Yeah, top green.
And playing.
The field took the hard point.
They didn't.
Hard point identified. Hard point contested. Hard point locked.
Go new. Mid-cut, one mid-cut.
Hard point
One on you, one on you.
Hostiles have the hard
Yeah, one's at you.
Two wire wall.
contesting.
I stunned 2, Zach.
At one time.
Got the hard point.
White wall, absolute. I'm putting a trophy on time.
Push me cut.
Yeah, I got it covered, bro. Good shit, boys, good shit.
Good shit.
The guild's gonna pay.
Dude, I read your mind before you even said it, Zach. You're like, watch White Wall, and I was already watching it. I was watching it the whole time.
Yeah, like
Because I know someone's gonna come from that way eventually.
I wasn't paying attention to my mini map, so I wasn't sure if anyone was watching it. Like,
Yeah, but yeah, I had it under control.
you were mad. That was a close game.
I was gonna say we were down so much too.
It was a bit shaky there at the start, like the rotations and like we're getting broken and shit. It was shaky from me. Pulled back a little bit.
So sometimes it's easy to do wrong. That's why I was like, boys, when you get that shit together, like, lock the fuck in. You know, about 112 a day. That's pretty good.
Good Masonator, we're getting fucked.
How many times are you gonna get called out tonight, mate?
No,
I
bro.
said the exact same thing last night.
Yeah.
What you were gonna say?
Why did Zuko save Toph, who was clearly not going to get hurt? He's actually Suyun's father.
Are you
First
watching
of all,
something about the
Zuko liked
Why do they even think
Toph
I'm
was
good?
fighting the
Who the
denied.
fuck's
He was
watching
careless
TikToks,
and
bro?
got blown away by someone who had just learned
That's about
Arabic.
Avatar.
Zuko immediately caught her.
Ah,
Keep in
Zuko,
mind,
Toph.
Toph is extremely powerful.
Who the
No
fuck who it's
skill
about,
set
bro?
could hurt
Turn
her.
that shit off, bro.
Didn't need help, but still, he
that
allowed
Emerald
Zuko to
Jade?
hold him. When Toph
Oh. I'm only gonna break your heart.
Shit was about Avatar, man.
What the fuck? What is it about,
Good
bro?
show.
I never said it wasn't a good
Good
show.
show.
Shut the fuck up, Zach. I never said it wasn't a good show. I just
Oh,
don't want.
calm down.
Bro, if you're gonna listen to that shit, turn your fucking mic mute or some shit, bro. I don't need to hear it.
Bro, aggro, man.
Well, fuck, bro. You fucking sort your mic situation out.
Mate, I love you. Calm down.
I love you too, but I don't love the guy fucking having fucking TikToks glasses for his fucking headset. I don't like that.
What happens if I do it?
I'll probably tell you to fucking turn it off. Respectfully.
Search and destroy.
No,
You
you
are
just like
authorized
Zach,
to
turn that
engage.
shit off.
Protect the guild's interests.
Yeah, that's respectful.
Might be more like Zach. Might be more like Zach. Shut the fuck up.
No, because Zach's not talking, so it's alright.
Fuck it.
What happens with my maid? Train tracks? Oh, push record, yeah, which kind of actually scares me, to be honest.
Haven't seen anything window or turn. Why am I about to be kicked for an activity? No, I'm not.
MTC is running dry. It is now or never.
I was as well.
They were probably holding. Oh, bombs down, bombs down. We got bomb down.
Yeah.
Oh, he's sniping in the house. Top.
Top grandma's?
Yeah, top grandma's. Could be granddad's, but top grandma's.
Bombs down. I'm laying down 10. I came a little right. He
He
killed
got
me.
you.
He knew. He's like, look at this right. Took your gun, Brock.
Yeah, well, I got 2 of them. What do you want from me?
Could you get all 4 of them? That would help.
He knew it was
Oh, I
right.
didn't see
That
that
is
one.
one round.
No, meant that, to be
We
honest.
can
He
talk.
knew he was eating cheese down there.
Hand them 2 seconds.
Jeez.
Yeah. He just slid around that corner like, look at this right.
I'm
Oh, wait,
only
no.
gonna break, yo.
Search and destroy.
Should have just been laying down in the doorway where I had like eyes on bomb. As soon as he rounded the corners, BAM!
Zach, buddy, it's all good. Don't stress, man.
All assets
will
move to
stress.
engage unauthorized personnel.
Why?
We got the bomb.
It's not worth it. It's alright, boys. I got the flank. Watch this. He's gonna run. One's mid.
Got one Z.
Nice.
I'm weak.
We are almost out of time. Buckle down and take this.
Lobbing dead.
We're planting the bomb.
Flank dead.
Go,
Only
yeah.
one
Oh,
enemy left. Neutralize them.
side barn somewhere.
Charge is set.
No way, he's back on.
Is
All the way
he
at the
still
back.
back?
Yeah, he didn't jump in the window. Nice.
Win recorded. Employee performance rating updated.
Nice.
Did you get 3 that round, Zach?
I did get through that round.
Zach's an animal, bro.
I don't even know why I'm surprised.
Could have been. Shaky.
Monster on the loose. Zach is the monster on the loose.
He is.
Get him, Wayne.
Search and destroy. Secure the mission area at all costs.
Protect the objective.
At all costs.
Oh, same way, bro. Coincidence? I think no.
No way, he just jumped in the bomb
The enemy
in the
has
bomb room
planted
that
the
I.
bomb.
One's train shack, Zach. Bro, top barn, and
Fuck.
cubby, maybe?
Like in this little bit.
Yeah. It was like might have been courtyard. I don't know where he is now. One's definitely top barn.
Seen him. Seen one. Shit, he's get the fuck out of me.
One hostile.
You gotta chow barn, you gotta chow now. I'm lucky, don't have time.
No, don't have time.
Your metrics are slipping. Clean it up.
Goddamn! Sorry, boys. I was even running for the bomb, and by the time I got to the bomb, I didn't have enough time. Well,
Disgust me.
Search and destroy. Move in and execute all mission parameters. Bomb acquired.
oh, mid block.
Charges dropped.
Oh, another one, back truck, mid.
One enemy.
Bombs on the other side.
Much
as
time left
well.
to lock this down.
One's back train shacks. Fuck, back barn. He's weak, bro. Last one, back barn. Teammates on the hunt, bro. Look at him.
Plant in progress.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa!
I just wanted the bomb plan, bro.
My teammate was on the hunt, bro. He was.
We should have gone 2 each side, not 3 on 1.
Yeah. The guy killed me like literally wrapped right on me. I don't know. It was very odd.
Very odd.
Search and destroy.
That's very good.
Dude was saying it.
The enemy guy.
Mission outcomes influence promotion prospects.
Oh no.
Oh, top on.
IC is nearing 0. Close the deal. One hostile
Oh,
remains.
no
Take
way,
them out.
Tom.
That was the one that killed me.
Let's bomb down. Get it, boy.
You good?
Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know.
Is he back there with you?
He got me. He's got to get bombed down. You can just wait there. He's got to get bombed. Bomb's right there.
We're gonna come from barn.
They might come mid-car.
Unless you grab the bomb and gapped it. Oh, Zach, bro!
The timing on that.
You should have just waited from the plant.
I went to like you said, like unless he.
No, yeah, but I was just making a call. Like, I didn't say fucking run out there.
I know. I went to just go check, make sure like the bomb was still there.
Nah, I would have just waited, bro. You had a better chance. Even if you planted the bomb, you would have had a better chance of winning the game. The gun fight. It's all good though.
Like,
Search and destroy.
I was even checking that fucking barn window, and as soon as I push a fucking.
Eliminate the
That's my bad.
objective. Bomb acquired.
Sunnington. One flank dead.
Oh, why are you back there?
Only one enemy left. Neutralize them.
And 10. 1 and 10. He's going back to P2.
Out of time. Buckle down and take this. Bomb going
Oh,
down.
no, everyone's dying.
The bomb has been planted.
Nice, bro. Knew you wouldn't choke. I don't know what happened to their teammate, but he got fucking destroyed.
Yeah, I was in the middle of planting. Like teammate was like right in front of me. I was laying down to get the plant, and he died. I was like, oh shit.
When I like went into 10, bro, he was like in the corner. I was like, what the fuck?
Search and destroy. Defend the objective.
No boys.
One's coming through the window to A. One's got when he jumped through the window.
Enemy device is set.
Sick. Dead. Dead.
Oh, he's weak in mid.
Window.
Nice, Meso.
I hope defuse. Oh, he's in there, on the bomb. Head touch. Nice, bro. Good shit.
In progress.
I would have been. Couldn't have been any more one shot too.
BS.
He's like,
BS.
Acceptable performance, SEC team. Make sure it stays that way.
Bro, I got the guy in mid-cut, and then like the guy was like laying down watching the bomb, and I got him as well.
Search and destroy. This operation is under executive surveillance. I want it pristine.
I want it
We
pristine.
got the bomb.
Almost top on.
One jack back to courtyard. Hey, people.
MTC is running dry. It is now or never.
One
Oh,
outside
dude,
10.
top barn?
Could be coming on the flank, Brock. Be careful.
B's wide open, but we don't have bombs. The teammates in barn.
I thought B was open because everyone was like sort of barn. Thought I heard someone like mid cut.
Bomb acquired. We're setting up the bomb.
Bro, if you're not holding
Bomb
corners
is
in
armed.
SND, are you playing SND?
One enemy
He was
left.
talking to me because I was literally sitting outside a train, like watching the flank, and he like literally ran right in front of me. That's like his fault, bro.
And that's just good like game sense that he like pushing the flank.
Oh, he's 10. Go alley, yeah. I don't know where he is. He might have ran back though, but he got a sun connection. Yeah, he's in the... Play time. Run, yeah, you're good. Good shit, bro.
He doesn't have enough time.
I'm getting calls from some very happy shareholders. Good work.
He got stuck on the doorway or something.
Hey.
He got stuck on the doorway trying to make it back. Look. He lost like momentum. And then he knew he didn't have enough time.
I can do like 2 more games.
Yeah, I'm gonna be off by about 9 as well.
Easy lads. It's about 2 or 3 more games. Or mate, I said 2 games.
Yeah, it just depends like how long the games go for realistically. But...
You just keep rolling them, or get right.
You got plus 46 SR for that last one.
Plus
Oh, yeah.
I got like plus 27.
Wait, no, that's a Scar hardpoint. We just did an S&D, didn't we? What the fuck?
Yeah, mine hasn't showed up for that one yet.
Well, that was the game before that one. It was plus 46. It sucks it's not like Warzone where you can see like your last match's like SR total when you're playing Warzone ranked. You can press left trigger and it pulls up like all your like the breakdown of your SR. Like your eliminations, like eliminations by teammates, your challenges, and then like the SR total.
It's different.
But I know, but it should just tell you like your SR total on the side for your last match.
Don't say it, bro.
Just simple quality of life thing to add. It even says when it's loading your stats.
Get
your
fucking
last
Sky
matches,
out of here,
results, and
please.
then,
They have a dominant in that team, bro. That's not fair.
Is he teamed up with someone?
Yeah, he's with the X Storm 18. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say he's solid though. And he wouldn't be on our team with like 2 other plats.
How do I beat or overload and we get overload? Why does this game hate me? Can we all just beat our overload next time so we don't get it?
What do you mean? They were all overloads.
Oh yeah, true, but I will. Yeah, Den's probably like actually the best one.
Yeah, you vetoed Scar and I vetoed Exposure.
Yeah, like exposure?
I just wanted to play. Yeah.
Is it gonna expose you? It might.
do.
It might, yeah. It might expose you.
I actually haven't played
What?
Exposure in a while. No one votes for that map. Or everyone vetoed them.
Well, it's not hardpoint anymore, it's not search either, so it's only overload. That's the only map it can be in.
Oh.
Only mode. We're taking out of the hardpoint and search rotation.
Overload.
Is that what like Saki
Eyes
got
up.
put in?
System's hot. We're not here for a tour.
Yeah, in Yemen. And good block. P1, dead.
Got broken.
Help! Why are we running that way? Can we go dojo, please? Can you block for me, daddy? Like a customer?
EMP successfully delivered.
Outside dojo.
Oh, he's weak back there.
He's laying down right outside to the right of dojo.
Yeah, there's three gone P1. Got one.
Hostiles have the EMP.
One's front cashes, absolute. Going mid cut. Yeah, front broken. It's brutal as you're looking for. Dead.
He's so weak.
Dead.
Nice, good job.
Just let it reset. Yeah, let it reset.
EMP location reset.
Oh, Jimmy count one's weak.
Yeah, the other one's weak as well. Nice, that's 2 down. Dojo. Oh, behind us. He's in our spawn, near the overload point.
But no way I'd... Didn't get him, boys.
Mine's make up.
Still
Dead.
Right inside on the stairs.
Rock, I'm coming with the bomb. Behind us, lockers. We need to get the guy. Nice, that good kill.
Dead.
He got me, Dojo.
The overload device is under hostile control.
I got stuck with the grenade.
We picked up the device.
Well, I've seen one in dojo.
Yeah, let's just hold them off for a second.
Oh, come from that spawn. He's still there.
Yeah, coming from couches.
Dead. He's got wrapping. Nice.
We have the overload device.
One's top blue, one's front red. Oh, he's going service actually.
Behind couches.
One's still P2, one's coming rooster.
Yeah, he's going P2. Oh, he actually held up. In this.
Weak. What the fuck?
Yeah, 2P2.
Bottom of the stairs.
They're gonna score.
There's 3 there in that spot. You could probably try and relay that.
We all died. That's not good at all.
Secure the new device. Overloaded our control station.
We can relay that though. If we're on it.
Hellstorm inbound. New overload device on the field. Get there first. Enemy
Nice,
control
good shit.
station overloaded.
And they wasted the Hellstorm as well, which is really good.
Oh, he's weak in dojo. I was Fucking
one
freak, man.
serves.
New EMP device available.
Trophy system was eliminated.
I got one dojo. Got another one dojo.
EMP.
Make cut, two make cut. One more make cut. I need help. Grab the bomb. Go.
Device acquired. Transported to the enemy zone.
Dead. One more back there.
Time
That's a massive scoring opportunity. We need to get them kills.
I got one. There's one more. Go, Zach.
I think team I got him.
We
Yeah, nice,
overloaded
good
their
shit.
control station.
I'll push up. Dead. 1-0. One rooftops. At us.
Get there first.
So there's two.
Oh my god.
Pinched us.
Hostiles have the overload device.
I need help.
We picked up the device.
Nice, good shit.
I seen two still in like P2. I was behind them on rooftops. I was like, fuck it, I'll just pick up bomb and make a break for it.
It's just like a field day right now.
I ended up getting shot in the back once, but I was like already through the service and it was gone.
Overload. Sabotage enemy zones with the overload device.
P1 near the bomb.
Overload device is under hostile control.
Oh,
down.
one's buying servers. Not with bomber.
Bomb down P1 still, just outside red.
We picked up the EMP.
Bottom left dead. One make cut dead.
Couch.
Oh, catches.
Enemies are carrying the EMP.
Yeah, 1P2. They're going rooftops. One's P2 still.
Two there. One bombs. Yeah, you guys go.
No way, man.
How the fuck did they score that, bro?
Our control station is down.
Grab bomb.
He's in dojo.
New overload device available.
Yeah,
The overload
dojo.
device is in our control.
Two lockers. Watch out. Teammate needs help.
Enemies are carrying the device.
Then dojo, watch out.
No way, this diamond dude's crazy, bro.
Oh,
Might be wrapping it.
that was Brock rolling up behind me. It was an enemy.
I'm not wrapping it. One more to the right.
We have the EMP.
3 mid. I got 2.
Two back there, spawn side. Near.
Yeah, I got one. There's one more back left. He's weak. He's absolute Zach. Get him.
Oh, two
Protect
more.
our zones. They have the overload device.
Should have just chowed that in.
Snake, man.
One, 10. One outer. Oh no, that's not good. That is not good. That is not good.
Wrapping it through P1.
Server.
Coming from the back. Push back.
Hostiles overloaded our zone.
Fuck, bro. Had that on lock as well, man.
I've located a new overload device.
Out of P2, dead. That's 3 down. Go.
EMP successfully delivered. Secure the new device.
Oh, make up.
The overload device is in our control.
Make up!
It's not dead.
Device acquired. Transport it to the enemy zone.
Is two more dead?
Mid, dead.
No, he's all the way back
We
on
picked up the EMP.
couches. There's two back there.
Enemy Hellstorm on the way.
Nice.
Successful overload, Black Ops.
Got him. One back hatches.
Get serious, Black Ops. MTC is scraping bottom. New EMP device available.
Lockers, dead.
3P1.
Go.
We have the overload device.
Nading it. Watch out. That's my nade.
Overload device successfully delivered.
Where's your boys?
We got no one on the new point though. So. One's mid. Two mid. Going copy.
Located a new EMP device.
Did you see one go outside
Hostiles
server?
have the EMP. The overload device is under hostile control.
That's
Device
GG's.
acquired. Transport it to the enemy zone.
Watch out for my nade.
We have the overload device. Overtime. Guild teams are bugging out. Figure out what they were hiding.
Good shit.
Bro! That's you, buddy.
I'm gonna get one or two more in.
One more.
Ooh, I'm on a win
Probably
streak.
in a lot.
Are you on a win streak?
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. What do you mean this is gonna be your last?
Doing well, last one as well. Like the last one.
Like this one or the next one?
The one that we're about to play. Doing well, last one.
You're doing alright.
I guess you won.
No, you just said we've been doing alright.
You have been. It's the win streak. You have been doing alright as well.
Nah, I've been going negative.
Still winning games, mate. Haley is my mummy.
Search and destroy.
He's also got TTP in his clan tag, so he's probably pretty good.
Give you
Beat 2P.
Go good luck again.
I beat a
Or
raid.
Plaza.
I beat a raid.
Probably beat a raid as well.
I did that just for Mesa.
Fucking hate that.
Do you want to play Gridlock? I can beat it.
I'll play anything but raid. How does that sound?
What about Plaza?
Oh, this is alright.
It's gonna be raid.
Fuck's sake, Zach, you fucking done that.
Like how?
Because you
There
changed
was
your
two
vote.
votes each.
Nah, you changed the
No.
vote, bro. That's your fault.
One vote wouldn't have made that go
Yeah,
out.
I reckon it would have made a massive difference. And I was like, one job, man.
Mate.
Now I have to
it
play.
had
Now I
two
have to
votes
play
on
this
our
shit
side
map
as
again.
well.
Every time
Wait,
it's
it
in
had
D, bro.
two votes on our side.
Yeah, I don't care what anyone said. Fuck raid. Shit, I lost my map. Especially on a bad map, I just don't like playing SD on it. swear whenever I play this map, man, I'm like cursed constantly. Just... Every time I play it, it's a bad game. So don't expect anything big from me, boys. You want to blame anyone, blame Zach.
No, it's the enemy team.
Nah, man, your fault. You could have left it on Plaza. It would have been alright.
No.
It would have. I'm telling you, because
It wouldn't have.
both maps had one. No,
Raid.
listen, both maps had one boat and Raid had two. If you just left it on Plaza, it would have been fine.
Nah.
Secure the main
Yeah,
area at
yeah.
all costs.
Nah.
Listen here, little boy.
Yeah, little boy. You
You're the little boy, not me.
want some of this?
Yep.
One hostile remains.
Oh, he's absolute bottom mansion. Absolute bottom mansion. Like one bullet. Zach, get him. He's not one bullet anymore, but he's...
There's not much time
The
left.
bomb was getting planted, so bomb's down on the bomb. Zach, up there. Nice.
The round is ours.
Is that you, Brock? That guy?
Exemplary work.
It was, yeah.
Bro. I was about to kill the guy
my
planting the
line of
bomb.
fire, man.
I was about to kill the guy planting the bomb. And the guy jumped down from, like Tom mentioned, right in front of my face. And then I just killed him and then killed the guy planting the bomb.
I seen him one shot look good. And then you slide around the corner. I was about to shoot him, but you come sliding around the corner.
I'll slide around your
I
corner.
nearly killed. I went to shoot the guy on the bomb and then Mesa killed him. I'm like, fuck.
Search and destroy. Destroy the objective. We got the bomb.
One's top laundry.
I think they know you're in the water.
I know they do.
One top laundry, one top art. One top art might be flanking.
We're almost out of time. Buckle down and take this. Lost the bomb.
The timing,
One's
man.
basketball
Check
court.
basketball, check fucking...
Right, box got this.
And bombs down far side A bomb. Like wrapped around Tiki. Full check basketball, full check window. Made a play for the bomb and get shot in the back.
Got timing, bro.
I know. That was clutch block, holy shit.
Bomb acquired. We're planting the bomb.
I hate how much of the bomb
Charges set.
takes.
Oh, they were both there. If I went any other way, I probably could have done something. Nearly got him too.
Our device was disarmed. Work is not done. Get back out there.
I'm gonna start pulling my weight. I'm still on a donut. You donut.
That's what Brock calls people donuts.
Yeah. Because I'm on a. Because I'm on a donut. I am.
Are you a donut?
Yeah, because I'm on a donut.
Do you want to be a donut though?
No, I need to step it up.
You could be a breadstick.
And,
if you want.
yeah, I need to become a breadstick.
What do you get 2 kills?
Yeah, maybe you get 2 kills this round. Never know. Top art. I'm weak. I'm about to die with a nade. Ooh.
Oh, dude, one's going mansion side. No, he went back to square. He went back to square.
MTC
Oh,
is
my
running
days.
dry. It is now or never.
No way, he's still in there. He's going back to their spawn.
Well.
Enemy set the bomb. Your stocks are plummeting. Get this under control.
Bro, I got the craziest timing. Like you would never, like, believe me. I told you what happened.
Where did this dude come from? How the hell was he still in art? I cleared that shit, man. Where the fuck is he hiding?
Take it, what was that? So
Who jumped
where
through
were
the
you
window,
hiding?
Cleared top.
Search and destroy.
Zach, it's okay.
look through
It's
the-
okay. Don't. There's no need to stress.
You are authorized to engage. Protect the guild's interests. We got the bomb.
And I'm here. I'm stunned. Oh, one head glitch in B.
Dude, behind me! Fuck, man.
Bomb acquired.
That is the craziest timing I've ever fucking seen.
Oh, of course, bro.
MTC
What
is
the
nearing
hell is
zero.
going on, man?
Almost.
They're like full jump through doorways and shit.
Work is not done. Get back out there. Search and destroy. Defend the objective.
I brought him out. Peeking A. He backed up. One driveway.
We are almost out of time. Buckle down and take this.
What's that? He's top art, like outside the window. Sorry, man. He's ring, one's ring.
Yeah, ring.
Ring.
Fuck. Big.
I got no ammo. I'm on my last mag.
Alright, you can kill 2 people with 1 mag.
Timing, man.
It's
Can't
alright.
get
Where was
enough
he?
of my timing.
Teammate got the trade, it's alright. Teammate got the trade. He's top. No, alright, teammate got
Hostile
him too.
momentum arrested.
It's alright, teammate got him.
Chance.
Alright.
Got 1 kill, at least. I'm on a bird stick, finally.
Now you're on the board, Zach. Don't even worry about it, bro.
Finally.
Search and destroy. Eliminate the objective.
Whoa.
We got the bomb.
You're right there,
Ready?
mate.
Got it?
Laundry.
Teammate's full setting it by the looks of it.
MTC is running dry. It is now or never. We're setting up the bomb.
2 B side. I was gonna
Bomb
flank.
active. You are our final.
One on
asset.
A.
Do your
on the
job.
bomb. I'm not
Defusing the
top of
bomb.
Ninja. Oh, that was him.
Oh,
Sorry.
I just.
The enemy has defused our
Someone
bomb.
was on anyway.
He killed me as soon as I got up, so I wasn't sure if he was gone for the defuse.
Nah, he was on it already. But I couldn't see his body. 'Cause I peeked it, but I couldn't see him because he was like facing that way.
Oh, I fucking planted for the wrong side, and I thought I planted on the side of it. My bad.
Because I seen the bomb,
Side behind it.
but you can't tell. I don't think you can tell if anyone's on it or not. If you can't
Search
see
and
the body.
destroy.
Yeah, what, did they just pick up a duplicate bomb?
Protect the objective.
One's mid.
One's ring.
Mine's bottom mansion. Fuck, bro. Going top mansion.
Oh, Tiki? Oh.
Yeah, this is GG's, bro.
Clean it up.
Told you every
He's
time.
peeking out like I'm already. What the fuck?
Every time I play raid, bro, it's just a shit show. I mean, I'm 5 and 6, so I'm not doing bad, but just sick of this fucking shit map and mode. Not the mode. I love S&D, but just this map on
Search and
S&D is just
destroy.
not it.
Destroy the objective. Bomb acquired.
Get my man, eh? He's in laundry.
Top window.
It's
Bomb
having B.
plant in progress.
Laundry. Hold my laundry, someone, please.
Bomb is armed.
I was on the B
I
side.
literally said I was getting the bomb down at A. But what else?
One kitchen. You push back.
One hostile.
Oh, can't.
Search and destroy. Success guarantees continued access to premium benefits.
Apart.
Dude, free square, going mid.
There's not much time
Mine's bottom mansion, bottom mansion.
The enemy has planted the bomb.
Mom planted the bomb. So.
What the fuck?
GG.
Yeah, glitching it.